Good day everyone, I am Yoleta Angelina and today I will be discussing the introduction of our topic entitled Email and Digital Communication. Before we start, let me ask you a simple question. Who has already used an email? Maybe para mag-submit ng assignment, makatanggap ng announcement mula sa teacher, at makipag-communicate sa classmate. I'm sure karamihan sa atin ay nakagamit na ng email. So first, ano nga ba yung email? So what is email? Email or electronic mail is a method of sending and receiving digital messages through the internet. So sa madaling salita, ang email ay parang digital version ng isang liham, pero mas mapabilis at mas convenient bukod sa messages. Pwede rin tayo magpadala ng mga documents, pictures, videos, at iba pang files. Kaya naman, email is one of the most commonly used communication tools sa schools, business, at iba't ibang organizations. So next is digital communication. So what is digital communication? So when you say digital communication, is the exchange of information using digital devices such as smartphones, laptops, computers through the internet. So sa madaling salita, ito ay ang pakikipagpalitan ng informasyon gamit ang technology. So hindi lang email ang kabilang dito, kundi na pati Messenger, Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, at iba't ibang online platforms na ginagamit natin sa pagkikipag-usap at pagbabahagi ng impormasyon. So now, why is email and digital communication is important? So, napakahalaga ng digital communication sa panahon natin ngayon dahil ginagawa nitong mas mabilis, mas madali, at mas efficient at pag-communicate. So, for example, sa academic setting, ginagamit natin ito para mag-submit ng assignment, makatanggap ng announcement, at makapag-share ng files at makipag-communicate sa ating teachers at pati na rin sa ating classmates. So, on other hand, a professional setting or workplace, ginagamit ang email at iba't ibang digital communication tools para magpadala ng reports, magkipag-usap sa clients, at sa co-workers, mag-schedule ng meeting, at magbahagi rin ng importanteng informasyon. Pero tandaan, hindi lang sapat na marunong tayong gumamit ng email, mahalaga rin na alam natin kung paano ito gamitin ng tama. So, dapat malinaw ng ating mensahe, professional ang ating tono, at marunong tayong sumunod sa tamang online etiquette. So, sa ganitong paraan, naiiwasan ang misunderstanding at mas nagiging ayos ang professional ang ating communication. So in this lesson, we will learn the importance of email and digital communication, understand the proper way of using email, discover how responsible digital communication can help us become more effective students and future professionals. So with that, let us now proceed to the learning object of our lessons. Thank you for watching.
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Ngayon, may tanong ako sa inyo. Hindi nyo ba na itatanong kung anong komunikasyon ang inyong ginagamit ngayon? Ang kasagutang iyan ay masasagot natin ngayon sapagkat yan ang bahagi ng ating pag-uulat ngayon. Ako nga pala si Binibining Ay Kimada, ang inyong tagapag-ulat sa umagang ito o sa araw na ito. Ang komunikasyon ay madalawang bahagi o na sa Tagalog ay sa English ay ang the two pillars of communication. Ang dalawang ito ay ang synchronous communication at ang asynchronous communication. Sa Tagalog ay ang sabayang pakikipagkomunika at hindi sabayang pakikipagkomunika. So, ating ibabahagi ngayon kung ano nga ba ang dalawang ito. Ngayon, aking ibabahagi kung ano nga ba ang dalawang pillars ng komunikasyon. So, ang una nating ibabahagi ay ang synchronous communication o kung sa Tagalog ay ang sabayang pakikipagkomunika. So, ang sabayang pakikipagkomunika na kung saan ay agara ka makakatanggap ng isang sagot o isang mensahe na kung saan ang dalawang partisipante o ang mga partisipante na kabilang sa pakikipagkomunika ay buhay ang kanilang presensya. At may mga malinaw na pakikipagkomunika, daloy ng impormasyon na magaganap dito. So, ang halimbawa nito, ang napakagandang halimbawa nito na maibibigay natin ay ang Google Meet na kung saan ay ito ay ginagamit ng mga estudyante kagaya ko, nagagamit natin ito sa pakikipagkomunika. Kagaya na lamang na ito ay isang tatawag nating synchronous communication sapagkat ang mga partisipante ay nakakasagot na ang agara at may malinaw na daloy ng komunikasyon at ang buhay din ang kanilang presensya. Ang asynchronous communication ay kung saan ay hindi buhay ang presensya ng ang mga partisipante ng komunikasyon. Ang halimbawa nito ay ang bibigay o pagpapasa mo ng impormasyon gamit ang Gmail. So, ang halimbawa nito ay para sa ating mga estudyante ay ang pagpasa ng mga aktibidad na isinagawa ng ating guro. Kagaya nito, ang video reporting. So, kinakailangan natin ipasa ito sa pamamagitan ng Gmail o di kaya ay video na ipapasa natin. Hindi tayo agad nakakatanggap ng komunikasyon galing sa kabilang partisipante o sa ating guro.
Gandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ngayon po ay atin pong tatalakayin ang ating paksa patungkol sa strategic email routing and the subject line. So, what is strategic email routing? So, it means directing emails to the right person, team, or system automatically. Isang paraan ng pagpapadala ng email sa tamang pinapadalahan. Halimbawa dito na ipadala yung email sa tamang destinasyon. So the message get handled faster, avoid delays, and reach the right decision maker. Naiwasan dito yung pagdidelay at ito ay ipinapadala sa tamang pinapadalhan. So paano ito gumagana? Roles based on subject line, keyword, sender, recipient, content. So gumagana ito sa pamamagitan ng receiver, sender at ng content. Halimbawa yung email na ipinapadala. So ganito gumagana yung tinatawag natin na email routing. So halimbawa dito yung nagbabayad ako ng tuition sa eskwelahan. Ginagamit ko yung aking GCash, ipinapadala ko sa cashier. Nakalagay doon bayad na ako. So halimbawa isa rin yun sa halimbawa nito. Pangalawang paraan kung paano ito gumagana, search email into folder, forward to specific address or assign tickets. So isang paraan ng pagpapadala ng particular na pinapadalhan o particular na lugar. So pangatlo, paano ito gumagana? Reduce clutter and ensures urgent or relevant emails aren't missed. Binabawasan dito ang mga kalat o mga nakaugnay na email para hindi lumampas. Sunod na pag-uusapan natin dito yung subject line, ang napaka-importanteng paksa dito. So bakit importante ito? So the subject line is the first filter for routing and reading. So ito ang unang paraan upang magkakaroon tayo ng ruta at pagbabasa. So it tells the system and the reader exactly what the email is about. So sinasabi dito kung patungkol saan yung email na ginagamit natin. narito ang mga tamang paraan ng paggamit ng strategies subject line. Una, be clear and specific. So, huwag gumamit ng hindi klaro. Dapat isulat ng eksakto kung patungkol saan ang email na ginagamit natin. So, pangalawa, use keyword for automatically routing, include like support, sales, HR, finance, orient, complaint, approval. Yon ang mga halimbawa na kailangan nating gagamitin. Pangatlo, add context and action. State what is needed and the reference. Action required, review for contract draft project alpha. So bakit kailangan natin ito? Upang malaman natin ang dapat nating gawin at magkakaroon tayo ng gabay sa tamang pagdadala. So ito yung tinatawag natin na routing at magkakaroon tayo ng tiyak na basihan at hindi mapabayaan. Pang-apat, indicate priority if needed. Kailangan natin ng agarang atensyon kung ano ang ating kinakailangan. Ngayon, para mas maintindihan natin, bibigyan ko kayo ng example setup nito. Halimbawa, subject, HR, job application. Halimbawa, ilagay mo Juan de la Cruz. Automatically routed to HR recruitment team. Pangalawang subject, support, website login, issue user ID. So, automatically routed to technical support. So, yun ang example setup na ibinabahagi ko sa inyo ngayon. At yun lang po at maraming salamat sa panonood.
Every time you walk into the room, got me feeling crazy, like my heart boom boom. Any other boy would stare, but me I look away, 'cause you're making me scared. Trying not to breathe, 1, 2, 3.
Today, let's discuss about the first two standard professional email structure, the salutation and the opening hook. First, the salutation. It refers to the greetings placed at the beginning of an email. It is the first thing the recipient sees. It should be polite, respectful, and professional. A proper salutation helps create a positive first impression and sets the tone for the rest of the message. For example, Dear Mr. Santos or Good morning, ma'am and sir. Salutation is very important because it shows respect and professionalism, creates a positive first impression, establish a formal and courteous tone, and helps build effective communication with the recipients. Second is the opening hook. It refers to the first sentence or paragraph after the salutation. Its purpose is to immediately inform the recipients why the email is being written. A good opening hook should be clear, concise, and direct so that the reader can quickly understand the purpose of the message. For example, Dear Ma'am and Sir, I am writing to inquire about the schedule of the upcoming program. In this example, the recipient immediately understands that the sender is asking about the schedule of the orientation program. Opening hook is very important because it clearly states the purpose of the email and helps the message organized and easy to understand. Before I end this discussion, please take note that a professional email begins with a polite salutation followed by a clear opening hook. Together, they create a respectful, organized, and effective message that communicates its purpose right from the start. That's all.
Good day everyone. Today our topic is all about the standard professional email structure. Part 2. Body, CTA, and sign off. Number 1 is email body. Ito yung main content o mismong mensahe mo. Dapat malinaw, maikli at maayos ang pagkakasulat. Rules nito ay sa unang talata ay sabihin mo agad yung purpose mo. Huwag mo nang patagalin o paisipin pa yung magbabasa. Halimbawa, I am writing to follow up on the project proposal we discussed last Monday. Sa middle paragraphs naman, dito mo ilalagay yung details, context o supporting info. Tapos ang length naman, ang haba niya ay 3 to short paragraphs lang. Kung mahaba talaga yung sasabihin mo, i-attach mo lang yung full document tapos ilagay mo yung summary sa email. Number 2 is call to action. Dito mo diretsang sasabihin kung ano ang gusto mong gawin nila at kailan nila ito gawin para walang kalituan at hindi madali ang usapan. Example, could you please review the attached report and give your feedback by Friday in June 9. Dito kita naman natin na malinaw na may pizza na June 9. This practice, maging specific kung anong gagawin at anong titingnan plus kailan ang deadline. Number 3 is sign off. Ito yung formal na pagtapos ng email mo bago ilagay ang pangalan. Mga okay gamitin ito ay ang sincerely. Sobrang formal, safe gamitin sa lahat ng sitwasyon. Best regards, standard at pinakadalas gamitin. Ito yung madalas na ginagamit. And thank you naman kung bagay ito kung humingi ka ng tulong o pabor. At ipapakita ko lamang ang kabuang halimbawa nito. At yun lamang po. Maraming salamat.
Magpapatuloy tayo sa aming report at ang tatalakayin ko ngayon ay tungkol sa digital netiquette and tone protocols. Ano nga ba ang digital netiquette? Refers to the set of rules and guidelines governing polite, responsible, and respectful behavior while communicating online. It prevents misunderstandings, clear communication, and protects personal privacy across all platforms. So, sa simpleng salita, ang digital etiquette ay pagpapakita ng magandang asal online at ito rin ay susi sa pag-iwas sa cyberbullying, trolling, at etc. At hindi pagkakaunawaan. Proteksyon din ito sa iyong digital footprint o ang reputasyon na naiwan sa internet. Ang digital etiquette ay isa itong vault. Nandoon nakapaloob lahat ng mga mahalagang detalye na naiwan sa internet. Doon lahat ang mga impormasyon tungkol sa iyo. At hindi ito mabubuksan kapag walang permiso na galing sa iyo. Yan ang digital etiquette. At ang etiquette naman ay galing sa salitang net at ang net naman ay galing sa salitang network kaya naging net and etiquette. Ito ay nagpapakita ng pagsunod sa mga alintuntunin at pagiging responsable sa paggamit at pag-communicate sa internet. At narito ang 10 core rules of etiquette. Una, remember the human. Sa bawat screen ay may tunay na tao at may damdamin kaya dapat maingat tayo sa ating pagkomento. Pangalawa, follow the same standards you do in real life. Hindi dapat magbago ang iyong ethical at moral principles mo kahit online. kung ano ka talaga sa totoong buhay, dapat ganun ka din sa mundo ng online. Pangatlo, know where you are in cyberspace. Sabihin man natin o sa hindi, nag-iiba talaga ang ating etiquette depende sa platform. Kung sa black app ay minsan ay maging masaya tayo at may mga matutunan tayo mga trivia. At sa blue app naman ay doon natin na ipapalabas ang ating mga damdamin, salubin at hinanakit sa buhay. Panglima, make yourself good online. Bago ka humarap sa online ay dapat i-check ang grammar, spelling at ayos ng pangusap para hindi ka uutal-utal sa pagharap online o online. Kaya dapat check mo muna ang iyong grammar, spelling at ayos ng pangungusap. Pang-anim, share experts knowledge. Halimbawa, may magtanong sa iyo ay may maibibigay ka na sagot sa kanyang katanungan, at kung magtanong naman sa iyo na saan galing ang iyong sinagot ay may resources ka na maipapakita sa kanya kung saan galing ang iyong sagot para ang sagot mo ay may basihan at may ebidensya na doon galing ang sagot mo at hindi siya magtaka kung saan mo lang pinulot ang sagot mo. Pang-7, keep flame wars under control. Iwasan ang pagiging toxic dahil dito nag-uumpisa ang mga away, personal na galit at iba pa. Kaya pag naramdaman mo na toxic ng usapan, huminto at lumabas at lumayo ka para mahinto ang pagiging toxic ng usapan. Pang-8, respect people's privacy. So ito, importante talaga ito. Huwag manghimasok or mag-espiya o mag-post ng personal na impormasyon nang walang pahintulot sa may-ari. Kung ikaw ay magpo-post tungkol sa, halimbawa, mag-post ka ng tungkol sa iyong kaibigan at nilagay mo doon yung kanyang pangalan at siniraan mo siya lahat-lahat pwede kanyang inibanda ng Data Privacy Act of 2012 o RE number 10173. Kaya pag-isipan mong muna na kung ikaw ay may post online na walang pahintulot niya. At kung pwedeng madaan sa magandang usapan, idaan na lang sa magandang usapan. Pang-6, don't abuse your power. So, kahit makapangyarihan ka, wala kang karapatan na manlamang o mambuli ng kapwa. At pang-10, be forgiving of others people's mistake. Ito, normal lang ang pagkakamali. Nagkamali siya, itama ng maayos at kung kailangan ay nasa pribado kayo na lugar para kayo lang ang dalawang mag-usap at huwag mo siyang ipahiya sa harap ng madla. Tone protocols. Dito naman ay sa madaling sabi, ang tone protocols ay text-based chat o walang physical expression at boses. Kaya pwedeng magkamali ng pag-unawa. Kaya tinutulungan ng tone protocols na maiwasan ang ganitong pangyayari. Kasi sa pamamagitan lamang ng chat, maramdaman mo na at mababasa mo na kung galit siya, masaya ba siya, or may hinanakit ba siya sa iyo. Kaya dapat talagang malaman natin ang tone protocols. Una, avoid all caps lock. ito ay madalas itong ituring na ang paggamit kasi ng mga malalaking titik ay madalas itong ituring na sumisigaw o agresibo ka. Kaya laging tandaan na huwag gumamit ng malalaking titik sa sa formal man or sa chat kasi baka mamali ang kanyang pag-intindi. Use emojis wisely. So, ang emoji ay maipakita ang mood at maiwasan ang maling pagkaunawa. Pero huwag sumobra, lalo na sa formal o academic na settings. Pwede lang gumamit ng emoji, pero yun lang, yung emoji na isa, dalawa, wag yung lahat ng sa dulo ng chat ay may emoji at sa pagdating naman sa ikalawang pangusap ay may emoji na rin. Halos napuno na ng emoji ang yung message. Yung mensahe, iwasan mo ang ganun kasi lain tanawon manggod pag emoji ra tanan mura mag Digimon ra kayo, no? So iwasan na to na ha. Dayon kani what's your sarcasm? Kani siya no kay mo ni siyang bisan wala pay tingog pero may mahibal-an na dayon nga nasuko ba siya or wala. Mong atog yung kanon nato ang kanang atog kinaya nga dali ra kayo masukuon sa atog ginang likayan. Kaning format for readability. Kani kay para mabilis at madaling makita at maintindihan ang iyong mensahe. Kani mogamit kag bullet points or clear descriptive subject lines sa emails para dali siya makita ba. Dili ka mogamit og pong taas ra kaayo ang message, dapat concise lang na dito tanan information nimo ingana mogamit kag bullet points para ang maka-receive na dali ra niya makita o dali ra po niya maintindihan.
So, cybersecurity is the process or way of protecting your personal computers, cell phones, and networks. It can be done by using strong passwords, a unique and complex one. It can also be done by installing an antivirus software which can detect malwares in your gadget and can also detect hidden malwares inside it, so it can block real-time threats. It can also be done by avoiding to click suspicious links from messages or texts attached because it can lead you to fake login sites which can hackers get your data. And also, keep your software updated. If you don't update, hackers will use those holes to get in. Why it matters? Because it patches security vulnerabilities so hackers can't exploit bugs to install malware or steal your data. Second, it blocks new threats by adding latest antivirus definitions and anti-phishing protections against evolving scams and malware. Third, it updates performance improvement by fixing crashes, slowdowns, and battery drain so your device runs smoother. Then, it adds new privacy and security features like better encryption, improved 2FA, and stronger app permissions. Finally, it keeps apps compatible so your banking, GCash, TM, or e-commerce apps don't stop working due to outdated software. Next is, what is privacy? So, privacy is the controlling who sees and uses your information. like deciding what info about you should remain private and what should be shared. So, examples of these are names, addresses, phones, photos, bank details, and other important data. So, let's discuss why these examples are very critical if it is leaked. So, first is your name. So, with your name and other details about yourself, banks, ay, with your name and other details about yourself, scammers or hackers can pretend to be your bank, your GCash, your TM or SOCMED to reset your password so that they can get in and steal your data. So, in the example of name, it can be used for identity theft. Second is your address. So, your address can be used for physical targeting like package theft, stalking, or fake LBC scams. Hackers also use it to make phishing messages that looks more legitimate like we are from your barangay and we have the we have something to give to you. Third is your phone. So your number can be used for one-time PIN scams, SIM swap fraud, and spam or phishing text. If someone get If someone gets your number, they'll try to get your GCash, social media, or bank OTPs to take your accounts. Fourth is the photos. Personal photos can be stolen for catfishing, blackmail, and AI deepfakes. So, scammers also grab photos with IDs, school uniforms, or that location tags to guess passwords and security answers. So, fifth is the bank details. This is the most direct. Card numbers, account numbers, or GCash information let scammers drain money, make unauthorized purchase, and commit fraud in your name. So, sixth is the social media data. Post reveals your birthday, relatives' names, workplace, and habits. Hackers use to guess passwords Hackers use that to guess passwords, answer security questions, or create a very convincing phishing or scam messages like targeting your friends. So, why is it critical? So, cybersecurity and privacy are important because they help protect personal information from being stolen. So, cybersecurity stops hackers from grabbing your personal information and passwords. Without it, scammers takes your data. Either they sell it or misuse it. Second, prevent identity theft and fraud. So, when thieves steal your data, they can use it to do illegal behaviors. Strong privacy and security stops scammers from pretending to be you. Third is keep businesses and organizations operate safely. So, institutions stores tons of data. If they get hacked, system can shut down, financial loss, and stop services. Cybersecurity keeps their computers, records, and websites safe so they can operate without disruptions. Protect sen- Fourth is protect sensitive data such as medical and financial records. Some data is critically private like your medical history, prescriptions, bank balance, or credit card details can ruin your life if leaked. Privacy laws and cybersecurity tools make sure only unauthorized doctors, banks, or you can access them. Fifth is maintain trust when using online services. So, we only use Facebook, GCash, online banking, or Shopee because we trust them with our data. If there are constant data leaks or hacks, people will stop using online services. Good, good cybersecurity builds the trust so the digital economy works.
Good day, everyone. To conclude, email and digital communications, it is make communications faster and more convenient. Like, for example, instead of sending a letter that may take days to arrive, we can send it an email or a message that is delivered within a second. So we can also communicate with our family, friends, classmates, or co-workers even they are in different cities or countries. So they're essentials in education, business, and everyday of life. In education, students can submit assignments through email, join online classes, and communicate with their teachers. In a business, companies use email to send reports, proposals, invoices, and announcements, while employees collaborate through digital communications platforms. In our daily lives, we use messaging apps and email to stay connected, share important updates, and organize activities with others. However, using these tools also comes with responsibility. We should practice proper digital etiquette by using polite language, respecting other people's opinions, avoiding spam or fake information, and protecting our personal information and passwords. We should also review our messages before sending them to avoid misunderstandings. So, by using email and digital communications wisely and responsibly, we can communicate more effectively, build stronger relationships, and contribute to a more connected, productive, and respectful digital society. Thank you everyone for listening, and that's conclude of our video presentations. We hope that you have learned and understand from our video presentations. We appreciate your time and attentions. Have a great day.